Good morning, everybody. So, the patch just dropped at 5 a.m. Completely not awake. 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is. I just finished reading the patch notes, and I am ready to do my own breakdown of it. That being said, the developers have their own 30-minute breakdown of the patch. So, I'm going to try and cut into the things that I think are important and that are interesting. I might skip some major sections of text, summarize some things, and run through this so that it's not an a million year long video. Things that are important to me. First off, is out of this summary of weapon buffs and whatnot, the big takeaway is that headshots don't do 100% extra damage, they only do 50% now. So, less spike damage, but Helldivers take more damage. So, a good balancing trade off. I really think that's the right way to go. Is I really wanted to see them go along the route of the kill or be killed meta. And by giving us good equipment and good stratagems, but also making the damage more consistent across the board, they can make the difficulty more consistent across the board now because we're not taking massive headshot damage. Sometimes we get hit by one bullet from a shield devastator and you just instantly get deleted. Now that'll be a little bit less, but the overall damage you take will be more. So this actually increases the value of armor, I would argue, because if you're taking more body damage everywhere and you take bonus headshot damage, 50% instead of 100%, that body armor is now worth more in value. So extra padding and heavier armor, potentially and inadvertently buffed, I would say. So I'm going to get into all these weapon changes first. First off, I'm surprised. They buffed the default Liberator. I did not expect that at all. That was complete left field. Extra durable damage, stagger, mags, spare mags, flat damage, all around. That's some fanfare right there when literally the default gun gets buffed. So this affects everybody. Everybody has. The Knight, I believe, is only Super Citizen Edition. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's fucking awesome that they gave it higher damage because it fires so fast, and now it gets full mags and reduced recoil. That's cool as hell. So I'm gonna have to run all of this stuff. So over the next week, I'm gonna be testing out all of these guns. In fact, I might have to start keeping track of which ones I've tried out and doing them individually one at a time because there's just so much to cover now. The Liberator Concussive is a 60 round drum mag now, and you only have 6 mags instead of 10. That is hilarious because that makes it very good at putting stuns down range because the stun effect of the Liberator Concussive was not that bad. The problem was you had this reload that would stop your ability to crowd control everything, and you'd just be left there, with your thumb up your butt going, I can't do anything, and you could control things for a little bit, but then it would stop. This fixes that problem. Ultimately, the Blitzer at that point had a better chance of controlling things with stuns in the last patch, but now the Liberator Concussive is now a valid crowd control weapon. The Tenderizer got 5 more bullets and got more mags, which, I mean, honestly, considering it already does more damage than the Liberator Carbine and everything, the extra bullets are nice. Keeps it almost in parity, because that was the thing I felt Tenderizer was missing, was that smaller ammo felt painful. I already covered the breaker buff in another video. 3 more shells, more stagger. Pretty solid. Substantial but tiny buff. The Spray and Pray got its damage increased and a horizontal spread to it. So a duckbill magazine making the spread horizontal and less vertical is kind of interesting, and that might make it more viable against bugs. I think this is a good change because the Spray and Pray was in this weird spot because it had the same spread as the Incendiary Breaker, which was that big wide cone, that it didn't make sense. It wasted a bunch of its bullets in the air. Now, the Incendiary Breaker, those rounds would travel really far and tap an enemy and catch them on fire, so it's fine. The Spray and Pray, if it's limited damage, the way damage falls off, it worked. With that wide spread like the Incendiary Breaker, it was just not that great because there was times from medium range where it's kind of a useless spread pattern for the damage type that it is. This is much better. This makes this weapon viable against bugs. With the damage increase and then also the pellet redirection, I have to really try this out. This could be a potential great weapon against hunter swarms. That's what I'm thinking this weapon's going to be great for. So the spray and pray now has a very valid purpose, I feel like, on the bug front. And there's still a bunch of weapons that are pretty good at dealing with shriekers, so yeah, the spray and pray won't be as good at killing shriekers because the spread isn't going to be gigantic now. But you have other things like the cookout, incendiary breaker, and lasers, and stalwart, other things that are already pretty good at killing shriekers. The scythe got buffed. It's got a smaller scope, no recoil, heat effects, cooldowns faster, sets people on fire faster. So that's another one. The scythe is a very hard gun to use due to it being a continual fire weapon. So having it have some buffs is great. It really it felt a little weak. I didn't like to use it because that continual fire weapons I feel like leave you super exposed. But giving it, better usability, low scope, no recoil, faster fire, faster cooldown. Excuse me. The other one is here, the crossbow explosion radius. Now, this is hilarious because the crossbow already was knocking over my friends and I while we were playing. And now the crossbow has 50% more explosive radius and more explosion damage. I want to pause for a second here. This video is for the people who are listening at work. I'm not going to say any names, Alv, but this will help them catch maybe some of the patches while they're maybe not able to fully sit there and read it, but maybe they can listen to audio stuff while we'll do this. Everybody else, catch the devs video, catch the actual patch notes here, and dive in. It's gonna be probably won't get any new stuff out today because I have to record it and upload it and make stuff for it. But every day after this, there's gonna be just a wealth of experimental content for me from all these buffs and changes. Hopefully, everything goes good as far as performance and stability. We'll get down to some of those bug fixes later at the end of this. So I covered the Eruptor already with its big explosive radius. It has a much larger outer radius, and it's grenade shrapnel. So the shrapnel is frag grenade shrapnel instead of orbital airburst shrapnel. So it's not going to be as lethal as it was before, but it's a good middle ground. I covered this extensively in an Eruptor video. It is a pretty good change. I'm going to drink a coffee real quick. I'm still waking up. I woke up, I saw these patches at 5 a.m. I'm like, what the heck, Arrowhead, man? This is too early for me. The Defender got a buff. I covered this in a different video as well. This was in a leaked part of a video. I needed a little bit more to make it better than the Pummeler. Pummeler's in a great spot. I think the Pummeler's an amazing weapon. If it's not on this list, that's fine. It's an amazing weapon for it is, and I used it extensively during Meridia. Meridia, I used the Pummeler and stun grenades with a supply pack to help blow that planet up. So I hold the Pummeler close to my heart. It was it carried me through a lot. Liberator Penetrator buff. This is good. This is another good one. It needed more damage, and that's exactly what it got. So I'll have to try that out again because it was very weak and behind the curve before. So it was one of those picks that when I would do random loadouts, I'd be like, oh crap, I got the Liberator Penetrator. So it was kind of a sad pick. These next two I covered already, but still blow my mind. The Diligence and the Counter Sniper Diligence getting damage buffs, durable damage buffs, and the Counter Sniper getting more stagger force. The Counter Sniper was already an amazing, reliable, high damage gun, god tier on the bot front, one of the best weapons on the bot front, in my honest opinion. And it got this giant damage buff of almost 50%. That's crazy to me. So that is going to be able to precision take out a lot of enemies now. And the extra durable damage means you're going to be able to rip off arms and parts with that because it's also, I believe, medium penetration. It's going to be insane. I can't wait to try and see if I can rip off, Shield Devastator arms instead of going for their head. That should be really interesting. The Blitzer has a stun effect that builds up on targets. This, I'm not really 100% sure that was going to work for the Blitzer. I love the Blitzer. I'm glad they didn't nerf it. And there were so many comments on... it was one of the videos that algorithm really hard. The full auto Blitzer. It was Blitzer is god tier on bugs. That video. So many comments that were like, you shouldn't have said anything. They're going to nerf the Blitzer now. And I was like, come on, guys. Really? It's so bad. I had some faith in Arrowhead. I had some faith. So I had some blind faith. But now I feel like it's It's a lot less blind now that I'm seeing the light of the patch notes. This next one, wild to me. So I thought this was 30% the last time I saw this on like the leak notes. The Torture with a 50% damage increase. Now, the problem I had with the Torture, and I've had with the Torture, and I'm going to post a few old videos today, just because I don't have any new content yet. You know, I still got to play, get groups together, all that stuff. I ran the Torture, the Flamethrower, the Crisper Orbital Napalm Barrage on like on a Super Helldive on a Fire Planet. And the Torture's weakness before this patch was you've got a target in front of you, like a medium enemy or an Alpha Commander, and you dump the whole magazine on an Alpha Commander sometimes and you won't even kill him. Made it very hard because it's a flamethrower. It doesn't have stagger effects to it. I wish fire effects in Helldivers had something to crowd control bugs. I wish bugs were afraid of fire. That's the one thing I want to say here. I think this update is great. I think the changes to gas, which are further down, are great, because gas is supposedly going to cause some blindness and confusion effects, which is really horrible because everyone's going to be gassing each other come a couple days from now, which adds to the layer of amount of things I need to try out. If a Peacemaker got buffed for crying out loud, got an extra mag. That's hilarious. A Dagger got a damage buff. Lost its recoil, sets things on fire. So this is really cool because the Dagger actually, hilariously not, or whatnot, guy in my group, John, not John Helldiver, just John, he was like, you gotta try a Dagger. And I was like, okay. Like, he's like, look at this. And he like goes up to a Devastator, and he goes, dweem, and he just shoots the Devastator head off. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. So the Dagger getting a buff is cool. The extra damage increase means that it's going to be able to do things like little precision strikes. And hilarious enough, it lives up to its name. It's a tiny weapon, it's precise, and it's only good for stabbing range. Also, the AP increase on the Crisper and the Torture, I do believe that means that they're also going to go through and damage chargers to some degree. I can't remember how that works. Inform me if I'm wrong. I don't know what the different AP levels are really for. I believe AP4 is the second to last, and AP5 is like damage everything, if I recall. Crisper getting the extra damage boost is also really, really, really nice. So depending on the AP, and I really want to test this out very soon, like fire will probably be the first thing I test out. The AP increase on fire, if this allows me to like solo a charger by melting it with a Crisper, this sidearm gains a lot more power to me, because then you've got a weapon that is a viable pocket charger igniter. Really excited to try out the Crisper and the Torture. I really want to get to those. I don't know if I should get to them in the same video, because when you run all flame, you're a little vulnerable to range stuff. So you gotta make sure you're on a mission without Shriekers. Let's see, support weapons. This is, I try to break them down into categories. The stronger ones will be the recoils and the spear. The Eaton Quasar will be mid-tier, and the Commando and Exosuit rockets will be the weakest. I think this is the way. The recoilless rifle needed a buff. You take a backpack and a dumbfire rocket that requires skill and time to reload and aim, and then it was one of the most mid choices where honestly Eats and Quasar and Commandos were like a better choice than running recoilless, because they're more versatile due to being able to carry other backpacks and whatnot. Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't see this though. The Patriot exosuit rockets got significant damage boost as well. I didn't see this the first time. So they're farther down in here. There's going to be a mech buff that I'll get into, but yeah, I didn't know the Patriot was part of the mech buff as well. I wasn't expecting any mech buffs too, so I'm pretty excited to get into that later. Grenade launcher got buffed. More starting mags, more spare mags, so that's awesome. Because the grenade launcher was one of the most awesome weapons on the bug front. Very good versus impalers. Its damage was already in a good spot. It's just ammo economy was awful. This helps it with a bunch. And a bigger explosive radius means more team kills, which is great. This next one is like a big what the fuck to me. I still can't figure out the laser cannon. It seems like all the lasers remove their recoil, fire faster, and set stuff on fire. But the laser cannon can damage chargers, Bile Titans, Impalers, and Hulks, like through its armor? Like, that's absolutely insane if that's the case. So, once again, so many choices, and I know this is a huge balance patch. I know this is a bunch of um, buffs to weapons, but the bigger thing to take away from this patch is not the flat damage numbers, not the, it does this damage or whatever, but it's the mechanical changes are here to stay. So the laser cannon could be changed to do less damage later, but it will always deal damage to chargers and Bile Titans and Palers and Hulks now because they changed the gameplay loop. That's the takeaway you need to understand here. That they can still tune these numbers, and people might be upset, oh, they tweak this, tweak that, but when you change a weapon so it effectively does different things completely, that's probably here to stay as a new mechanic, and I would hope they would keep it. Arc Thrower buff, I covered this in a whole video. This is awesome. The extra range is the biggest part of this. The stun effect I didn't really talk much about. You got to see how the stun effect works, but if the stun effect builds up on targets, this might be really cool on chargers, because chargers and Bile Titans are something that you hit a bunch. So if there's a stun effect that builds up on targets, does it stack with more people? Can we take multiple arc throwers and just chain stun a charger, or can we stun a Bile Titan? Can we stun a Hulk? How does this stun effect work that we build up? That's one of the things I'll be testing in videos. Railgun buff was a huge video for me. People viewed the crap out of that. It was the first news we really got. That thing is going to be it's going to be a big hit. And you know what? For a railgun that it can explode into your hands, to take that risk for that extra 250% damage is so much more worth it now. So that's a great spot to put it in. It makes people want to accidentally blow themselves up because they know they can deal so much damage. And it is the epitome of what I feel like is good game design in this update, which is risk versus reward, kill or be killed. That's the gameplay loop I want to see in Helldivers. I don't want to see be weak and kite. I want to see kill or be killed. And this patch with the damage changes away from headshots and overall flat damage increase, I think this is the patch. This is the patch, and this is what the gameplay that I wanted out of the game. The Stalwart even getting a buff, which is just wild to me. Like, the Stalwart gets a buff. The Stalwart was already solid. Like, the fact that they even buffed weapons that were already solid to be more solid is awesome. And all these weapon buffs are really going to help people clear out breaches, because so far I haven't seen anything in this patch about spawns or spawn changes, just the damage the player takes. So hopefully there aren't any new threats on the horizon. I know there will be, but regular MG getting a buff is nice. Everybody's got the MG, so extra stagger force is cool. Will help out with medium enemies and whatnot. The anti-material getting a better stagger force up to 25 and damaging everything in a damage increase is just crazy to me, because it was already a great weapon. Yeah, as far as penetration 4 goes too, let's jump down to this. Flamethrower's got penetration 4 as well. But this right here, the extra stagger in the HMG, also really cool. HMG was already in a good spot. Like I said, I was going to be surprised if they buffed the HMG. There's a lot of footage on my channel of the heavy machine gun. It is one of my favorite weapons, and it was my favorite weapon when it got that big 50% DPS buff. And unlike the flamethrower, it didn't get nerfed. It kept its damage, so it became kind of a little bit of a meta weapon. You saw it a lot. Because it's versatile and it could deal with everything other than maybe a Bile Titan unless it's directly below it. It can really deal with everything in the game. Why it's a fun weapon to use. This right here, this commando buff, I literally said this. So I don't know if Arrowhead, you're listening to me right now or what. I had a video, and I knew the Fabricators dying in a single shot was too powerful for the commando. It made it way too viable for just taking an entire base out in one commando as one person. That's just too much power for one player to go to a medium base, go boop, 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 and then never have to go in. It also causes some unintended gameplay side effects when a player has a commando and they wipe an entire base out that fast. People don't go in that base, and there's a bunch of enemies and samples left over, which is kind of, I feel like, a negative gameplay loop, because you think it's safe and cleared, but it's not. And basically what they've done is, instead of armor values, they've changed it so Fabricators have health, and the commando kills it in 2 shots. And these were my exact verbatim words when I was on a drop that I recorded. So Very fucking cool that I had an idea for this stuff. Arrowhead has had the same idea. Whether they stole it from me or not, I don't care. It's a good idea. It makes sense. It needed to happen. It makes the Commando a little bit of an always pick and allows other weapons to shine. And Fabricators have health now. Does that mean we can start killing them with recoilless? Because that would be pretty cool if we could start killing Fabricators with everything. And I'm going to get into the Fabricator direct patch notes changes farther down here because I know they're buried in here somewhere. I already covered the Flamethrower. Flamethrower with its damage increase, which was crazy to me because it's getting a damage increase. It's already got a damage increase as a ship upgrade, and it's getting penetration 4. So if penetration 4 works like the Flamethrower video they showed where the charger gets melted by a Flamethrower, that means the Torture and the Crisper will have the same penetration values and be able to just burn through chargers and Biotitans, Impalers, and Hulks and whatnot. And so can the Autocannon. Even the Autocannon getting a buff there. I want to actually scroll back up to the... It doesn't say the Torture and Crisper can damage... Even though it's AP4, it doesn't say it can damage Chargers and Hulks and Biotitans. So we'll have to see. The Autocannon now can, though. And this is a cool effect. Also, when you see like this, you know, the anti-material, the Autocannon, Flamethrower, and the HMG, and even the Laser Cannon, all being able to damage heavier enemies, this was a thought and suggestion of mine. So I played on the Acid Planets, and you'd get white damage when the Acid Storm came in. And I thought, you know what would be good? If these weapons, like the Autocannon and the HMG and the MR, could do white damage to a Charger from any angle and still do something, and so people wouldn't be helpless. And this is the right choice. This is the way. This is the correct balance. This lets people actually engage their enemies instead of running away. And yeah, you can still run away. You can still run away from enemies if you want. It's totally valid. For the people that want to fight, there is nothing more frustrating than trying to fight an enemy that is just completely immune to everything in front of you, and having no choices, very limited choices, like the front of a Charger and then Biotitans or sometimes Hulks, and only being able to bring very specific equipment to deal with them. Now you have a lot more options and a lot more moments of helplessness. Huge buff to grenades. 5 frag grenades. More refill. You get 3 at a time. More shrapnel damage, more explosive radius. That's really fucking cool because the default frag grenade was already in a good spot and now it's in a better spot. This one's really big. I've got to try this out too. So the explosion damage on Thermite does 2,000 damage. Now, for reference, a Charger, like if I go find it on here, that does 2,000 damage. A Hulk only has 1,000 previously, 800 now, back health. A Berserker only has 750 health. A Devastator only has 750. A Charger's Butt only has 950. A Thermite Grenade does 2,000. So, do the math there. That thing's gonna literally pop Charger. So, one of the things I've been running a lot, and I get really annoyed by running it all the time, and it's become kind of meta in the previous patch, Stun Grenade plus OPS, Stun Grenade plus 500 kilogram. I think that grabbing Thermites over Stuns might be the new meta for people. And it will be a, I need to get rid of this thing that is chasing me button. And the other thing is, you always have it on you. So if you die to a Charger or you die to a Biotitan, you always have this. And you know what? 2,000 damage, you can go throw this on a Biotitan. And you're going to have less of them, and they're going to explode a bit faster. You're going to have one less, but they're going to be extremely lethal. So this will be a great tool, especially for people who have supply packs. Instead of having a supply pack and having to throw 2, 3 stuns at an enemy, for example, to kill Charger, I would throw stun, get close to it, throw a second stun, shoot it with my HMG as I get behind it, sometimes have it stun it a third time, or stunning with an OPS twice. I could just throw 1 Thermite and run away. And then finish it off, because my weapons actually can deal damage to it, like a Flamethrower or an HMG. So Thermites are 100% on the menu right now. Very exciting. I'm going to get another drink of coffee here. This is taking a bit. I'm sorry. I value anybody who's made it this far, who wants my opinions of this update. I am a very big fan of the game. I'm very much into the game. I appreciate all the viewers, all the views, and everything, and I'm going to be putting out videos about this update for a very long time to come because there's just so much stuff in here. So I already did a video on the 500 kilogram, and it's much, much, much better. That explosive radius is great. The fact that 110's got buffed as well is kind of cool. Damage slightly increased. Doesn't give us a number, but it is cool. Stagger on Gatling and Machine Gun Sentry. It's nice because they're vulnerable sentries, so if they can stagger the enemies that are getting close to them, those are the weapons. Those are the enemies they can actually damage. They will stagger more, which helps them to do what they're best at, which is wave clear. Tesla Tower got more stagger force and a stun effect, like the Blitzer and Arc, so Tesla Tower buff, I mean, that's really scary. The stagger force and damage of this HMG turret was already in an amazing spot, an amazing stratagem before the update, but now it has the added bonus of dealing damage to Bile Titans and whatnot. So I'm going to have to see how that works. If I can just sit there and shoot at a charger that's running up, because that's the one thing that would kill your turret, is a charger, and it'd be completely immune and you'd just be helpless. It's going to be really cool in that. Patriot. This is the mech stuff I want to talk about. So the Patriot's getting more Gatling stagger to match the other machine guns. It seems like all the machine guns are getting that increased stagger. They already said its rockets are getting stronger. I don't see that here, but I'm just going to assume that they're stronger because they did mention those rockets are stronger. And this is in the dev video. I saw this in the dev video because I skimmed through it because I don't have time to watch a 30-minute video right now because I wanted to record my opinions of this. The durable damage is almost double. The rate of fire is, once again, greatly increased, and the ammo is greatly increased. The XO49 got turned into the ultimate glass cannon. It is not any stronger. It's not going to survive any better. There was a bug fix for mechs farther down that stops them from dying when bumping into certain buildings and terrain. But this is crazy. So it's now going to be extremely good at killing Bile Titans and Chargers. It's going to be extremely good at melting Hulks and melting tanks. It's really cool. It's going to have that DPS it needs. So laser and rail cannon. Orbital laser rail cannon. More damage. Once again, didn't expect that. The laser had these moments where you got this, it's a limited call-in, you know, and it would just sit there struggling on a Hulk. And Hulk's backspots having less health and this increased damage means that hopefully the orbital lasers will spend less time on Hulks, because you usually typically run orbital lasers on certain bot missions like bunkers. So, very good overall to see that buffed. And here's one of the things that was really interesting. Gas is being reworked to a crowd control focused thing. It's going to do less damage, but it's going to cause blindness and confuse enemies and Helldivers. So every Helldiver is going to be freaking blind and confused after this update. So they're gonna see the light, and then they're not going to see anything. It's really great. Strategic assets are now on the war map. This is the right way. There's no reason why this shouldn't have been in the game already. I don't want to give them too much shit, but things like the SEAF recruitment facilities and things we earn as a bonus, for only explicit, people who remember what happened to know that. If you log in, you haven't been in a week, and we captured some sort of strategic objective that gives us a bonus. It's disheartening that we wouldn't know that's there. And you know what? I forgot I turned my ceiling fan off. God damn it, man. Well, my videos can sound like crap now. So if you hear any funny noise in the background, it was that stupid fan. It's emote wheel. So now we can have more emotes. Man, excited for that. That's awesome. Fabricators have health and armor. High armor penetration weapons can still destroy them. So that's really fucking cool. That's really going to be useful. So they made the Commando a little bit weaker, but they made all the other options viable. Hulks have less armor. Their weak spots. Their back weak spot is more durable, but it has decreased health. So durable damage weapons you would expect to hit hard, are going to be the ideal for it. So very light weapons that do low durable damage will be not as good, or about the same. Hulk Bruiser has an energy cannon instead of a laser. Changed out fires. Tank has more armor. Berserkers are weaker, but they do more chainsaw damage. Devastators flinch when hit, have a little bit less health. Rocket Devastators covered this already. They got less rockets. They have to reload. Gunships, they have less rockets. They have to reload. The rockets should be a little bit less painful. And Chargers, man. Their armor went down from 5 to 4. And they've got less butt health. Their butt is easier to kill. Their belly is easier to kill. When their shell is ripped off, you get triple damage. They charge less. They turn slower. But their damage is higher. So if you let them get on you, they're going to hurt worse than they did before, which I think is fine. But they're going to be a little less cracked out, which is really nice. Hunter and Scavengers even got less health. Scavengers are little beetle things, and Hunters are obviously little white shits that slash you forever. Bile Titan. The Bile Titan has only level 2 armor on the bottom. You kill the belly, and then you can kill a separate health pool underneath it. So you can actually deal damage with primary weapons, a lot of them, to the Bile Titan, and a lot of different things can damage the Bile Titan, which this was right here. This was the big problem on the bug front, was Bile Titans literally limited all your options. You had to bring specific stratagems and play in specific ways, or else you would not succeed because you'd be being chased by a Bile Titan for all eternity. This is a great change. This is a really good change. Bile Titans are still lethal. They still can slash and kill somebody, but now fortune favors the brave. Anybody who jumps underneath a Bile Titan will have an increased chance of killing them. So once again, Helldivers facing their problems head on is the solution. And I really like it. Impaler changes. So this one, once again, lower armor. It can retract its tentacle when in danger more now. And its tentacles pursue over a shorter distance. And also, if they can't see you, they will retract their tentacles. This right here is the important one. Because Impalers would literally, just have their tentacles out forever from across the map. And you'd be like, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And there'd be times where it was bugged where it even went on forever. It does more damage. And they retract faster, which I thought was good because in the first game, Helldivers 1, they retracted pretty fast. They're very easy to clear out, but they also instantly fucking knock down players because they're a knockdown system first game. In the second game, they came out with a ton of health. Like, tentacles have more health than most enemies. I'm glad that that's a change. There's also changes to heat and cold. So heat and cold will not always be a static effect, and it can change based on time of day. And desert planets can sometimes have intense heat during the day and extreme cold during the night. And Hellmire-style planets will only have intense heat during fire tornado storms. It's pretty different, pretty wild. Apparently they saved the weapon aim mode, or they fixed the weapon aim mode bug, but they cleared everybody's aim modes and whatnot. That's a lot of fixes and bug changes and known issues, and I'm trying to look through some of these. I read this earlier, so I probably won't read crash fixes, just because, I mean, if they're fixed, then, one with objective stratagems, host migration, some issues with hosts leaving the game. Hopefully the social menu and invites work, because I was having issues joining friends. I think that's actually a known issue, is not being able to join certain friends. That's my biggest priority right now, because there's days where I get on, I get to play, and my friend can't join me. And that's still an issue in the known issues, I think. And that's a little disheartening. I hope they fix the technical issues, because the balance is really good in this. They reprioritized how enemies deal with the high value assets objective, so that they'll try heavier flying enemies will prioritize the generators, basically. Added more protection, the generators, keep them from getting sniped. And they fixed some spawning issues, which is good, because they were all issues with specifically this game mode. They tweaked the enemy stone's geological survey, which, gosh, I hope so, because those drops were right next to you every time. Some fixes to impaler bug damage. The 3 The 3 following instances. Oh yeah, they're talking about impaler launches and tentacles spawning beneath a player, launching you launch in the air, or the bug where the impaler throws you across the fucking map, or throws you across the map in an exosuit. Less of that, which would be nice. Something with damage farther out than 10 meters. I heard about this. Something like when the damage values are up by like 1 or something like that. Bile Titans to the head. Weapons firing below the crosshair when aimed out of sight. The Hive Breaker Drill. The misaligned ballistic shield. The misaligned HMG scope. The animation lock on emotes was a big one. Automaton shooting through walls. I really hope that they fixed Factory Striders shooting through walls, because that is the most annoying, frustrating thing. There's no counterplay to a Factory Strider shooting you through a wall. Some fixes to eagles and swamps. Let's see. Oh, they got rid of the orbital flare stratagem from Stratagem Hero. What? The nuke nursery, the floating drill. That's really good. Player names on a ship missing. I'm glad that's back. Trying to remember. The failed to extract bug. You'd see failed to extract when you dipped out of the mission. I'm glad that's finally fixed. That one really annoyed me. Let's see if there's any other ones in here. Stratagems, ragdoll optimizations. It's the part where you probably could dip out of the video, so try to figure this. The fixed ADS projectile misalignments, raycast issues in ADS. Oh, map markers on objectives will follow the objective if it changes position, as in the case of the SSSD drives. Oh, thank God. I hope that fixes that whole data mission in general, because it was annoying when the map markers of the solid state drives were not accurate, or you couldn't tell you needed to go to the main objective. There's a fix to the 500 kilogram not triggering, which was part of the problem with the 500 kilogram. Not only was it small, but sometimes it wouldn't do any damage. Oh, they fixed you can only find 1 confidential data in fortresses. That's funny. Enemies spawn during spawn democracy is another good one. Added another visual effect to the orbital cannon. Fixed automaton projectiles clipping through assets. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Combat walker bumping into a big building would destroy it. The bouncing flamethrower effects. Let's see. Those are mostly the bug fixes, and here's the known issues, and this the big one that big ones that are here. I'm trying to find it. Where was that? Friend requests. Large units don't have audio. Enemies will try and shoot through walls and whatnot. Enemies sometimes can shoot through walls. Helldivers, dead bodies of chargers can bounce Helldivers through the air. That's going to be hilarious. That's a hilarious bug to be like, hey, this is the update where the chargers fling you away. I'm trying to find it. Did I miss it? I know it's in here somewhere. Ah, here it is. Players may sometimes be unable to join specific friends or return to ship when joined. This bug here, this is the worst bug. This is the one that actually caused some dismay and drama one day for me, because it killed the mood. I was trying to play with my sister Britt, one of the main guys in my Discord, Alzerin, and we could not get Britt and Alv to be in the same game at the same time. This went on for hours until Alf gave up, and we didn't play with him. We went and played with other people. And then another time, I tried to have my sister's friend, Noah, very old, long-time PlanetSide 2 player, and couldn't get them in the same game. Noah's hilarious, by the way. If you don't know the story of Noah, it's an old story. People probably won't know it because the video's gone. He ate an entire jar of mayonnaise to join my PlanetSide 2 outfit, because I said in general chat of the game that, well, if you want to join, you need a whole jar of mayo like this other outfit. And so he did it and sent me the video. And I played games with him for years, and he's still friends with my sister to this day. It's hilarious. So that really sums up the video here. I'm going to pop onto Arrowhead's official video, I think, now. This sounds like a great patch. There's so much stuff to cover. I'm going to have to go through these over time. I'm gonna have to remember that these exist. I'm gonna have to scroll through all these changes constantly every day. I want to cover everything. I want to cover everything and try out every weapon, and basically, it's gonna feel like a whole new game with the different gameplay mechanics. So, if you haven't checked out Arrowhead's video and you still want to see theirs, or you saw theirs first, whatever the case, I think their video I dipped into a little bit, pretty high quality as well. These are all my personal opinions on all the balance. I'm super excited. I would like to thank everybody for the likes, comments, subscriptions, and the 20 or so members that I've managed to get after immediately enabling membership. It allows me to play this game longer, focus more on this, and keep posting videos and keep playing, and avoid getting a day job so I can keep playing Helldivers and sharing videos, which honestly, I'll be very real with you, is far more my passion than what my day job was as a landscaper. So I am very intent on going through this massive, massive patch, and then working on videos. This is going to take me. I'm gonna be very real with you. There's so many ideas for things that I want to do that it's going to take me well over a month to adapt to this patch. The entire meta is different. Everything is different. It's going to feel like a brand new game. And then we can see what other threats Arrowhead's going to bring into us. So this is 34 days ago was the beginning of the 60-day plan. So they've addressed a lot of the issues people had of the 60-day plan. And what I'd like to see from Arrowhead now that they've got their entire gameplay loop and a lot of bug fixes under their belt, I'd like to see them fix the friends and social system for good. Get that ironed out. Get those social system problems out of the way so that people can play this amazing update and not have any moments or any hang-ups where it's just, I can't get on, I can't play with my friends. I had some guys on PS5 that were really struggling and crashing. I'd like to see them be able to play. And secondly, I don't know what the performance is like in this update. I have not played it yet. I'm hoping it is improved. There is not any talk of performance. But I would like performance and technical debt to be a priority going forward for Arrowhead. I would really appreciate if they're aware that there was a big performance drop in the last balance patch, and it stayed for months. And I really, 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 really hope we're not going through that again. And that is yet to be determined. I will jump in, I'll play, I'll have my FPS tracking probably on for future videos just to see where I'm at, and I'll be running the Helldivers 2 optimized settings, which I have searched up and tested extensively. I run the optimized settings, you can Google it up, but I turn my particles and my lighting up to maximum rather than being lower because this game's particles are amazing. I'd like to be able to run the game full ultra like I did at launch, but unfortunately, even with my 5 GHz processor and a 4070 Ti Super at 1440p, I still have moments where I'm dipping below 60 FPS. I would like that to be above 60 all times. Not trying to give them too much shit. This is a great update. Super excited. Oh yeah, another known issue. Hell bombs. High damage weapons won't detonate them. I'm hoping that we see that also get fixed, but that's my breakdown of the patch notes. So for anybody who is listening, who couldn't read the patch notes today, who's busy at work, there you go. For the people who are super fans of the game, probably already playing, they're going to beat me to it. I'm pretty jealous. I felt like doing this, though. Check out Airhead's video. Check out this video. I've got, I'll probably already, at this point, I'll probably post the pre-patch gameplay that I have from yesterday very, very early. And the last video of the day will be this patch note video. There shouldn't be any new content because I gotta go make it. I gotta go play. So start catching all the new content and all the new videos as I start going through everything tomorrow and forward for, gosh, for a long while. It should be a long while, a lot of videos, because I have to try out every weapon and see how every weapon feels now. And it's going to take me multiple missions. It's just going to be, every mission is just going to be, ooh, let's try this. I want to try that, and just having a blast with it. So I will see you guys tomorrow when I start getting all the Super Helldives ramped up. Get all the new content out, and get all the new videos out. Super excited, super ready for this. This is totally awesome. So have fun. I advise that you get on and you try this out for yourself as well. And anything you don't have unlocked and don't have, who knows? Maybe I'll end up making a video about it. Thanks, everybody. Peace out. See you later.